It was just past midnight when Laura stood in her bed, the soft hum of the ceiling fan blending with the distant sound of crickets outside her window. She blinked slowly, trying to remember what had woken her. The house was quiet, eerily so. Then she heard it again, a faint knock, not on the front door. It was closer, gentle, hesitant. She turned her head toward the door and sat up. "Hello," she called softly. The door creaked open, and there, standing in the dim hallway light, was 17-year-old Ethan, her stepson. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice laced with concern. "Is everything okay?" He didn't answer right away. He stood there rubbing the back of his neck, wearing a worn-out hoodie and athletic shorts. His dark hair was tousled, like he'd been tossing and turning in bed. Laura immediately felt her pulse quicken, not out of fear, but out of maternal instinct. She'd only been married to his father Greg for a year and a half, and though things had settled into a mostly peaceful rhythm, Ethan still seemed caught between childhood grief and adult frustration. "I couldn't sleep," Ethan said finally, eyes on the carpet. "Can I talk to you?" Laura motioned him in, pulling the comforter closer around herself. As he stepped inside, she patted the edge of the bed. Ethan sat down, careful to keep space between them. For a while he said nothing. Laura watched him, her instincts sharpening. "I had a dream," he said at last, "about Mom." Laura felt the breath catch in her chest. Ethan's biological mother, Claire, had passed away 3 years ago after a long battle with leukemia. Laura had never tried to replace her. She knew she couldn't. She simply offered a presence, steady, supportive, patient. Still, moments like these were rare. "She was in the hospital bed," he went on, "only this time she looked right at me and said something I didn't understand. It was unsettling." "What did she say?" He frowned. "She said, 'Don't let it go again.' And then she vanished." I woke up shaking. Laura listened quietly. "Do you think she meant something in particular?" He shrugged. "I don't know, but when I looked around my room, everything felt wrong, like I didn't belong there. So I came here." Laura gave a small nod. "You do belong, Ethan, here in this house with your dad and me, no matter what that dream made you feel." He gave her a glance that hovered somewhere between doubt and gratitude. There was a long pause, the kind that stretches across more than just words. Then Ethan asked the question that revealed the true weight on his chest. "Do you ever think Dad regrets marrying you?" The question struck Laura unexpectedly. She swallowed, choosing her words carefully. "No," she said firmly. "Greg loves you, and I know he loves me, but we're all still learning. Healing isn't a straight line. Ethan, you lost someone irreplaceable. I know I'll never be her, but I hope someday you'll believe that I'm not trying to be." Ethan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "I miss her a lot." Laura reached out and gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "I know, and it's okay to miss her. You don't have to pretend to be okay just to keep going." For a while, neither of them spoke. The quiet wasn't awkward, just full of things unsaid. After a few minutes, Ethan stood up. "Thanks for letting me in. I didn't know where else to go." "You can always come here," she said, meaning every word, no matter what time. He gave her a small nod and began walking out, but just before leaving he turned around and said, "You're not like her, but you're good, Laura. You're really good." The door clicked softly behind him, and Laura lay back down, tears quietly sliding into her pillow, not of sadness, but of relief. Maybe, just maybe, the walls Ethan had built around his heart were beginning to crack. The following days passed like any other. Greg was away on a work trip, and Laura found herself spending more time around the house with Ethan. They'd always exchanged polite words, but now conversations came more naturally. They talked about school, college applications, even shared a few laughs over old movies. One afternoon Laura walked past Ethan's room and noticed his door ajar. She peeked in. He was asleep, a book open on his chest, sunlight streaming over the hardwood floor. On his nightstand was a framed photo of his mom. Next to it now was a smaller photo Laura had never seen before, one of the 3 of them taken last Christmas. Her heart warmed. Later that night Laura received a phone call. It was Greg. "I've got to extend my trip another 3 days, he said. "The negotiations are tougher than we expected." Laura sighed. We'll be fine. Ethan and I are figuring things out. I'm glad, he said with a soft chuckle. I've been hoping for that. The days passed quietly. Then one evening Laura heard raised voices from Ethan's room. Curious and concerned, she knocked and pushed open the door. Ethan was on a video call with someone, his voice filled with frustration. I said I'm not doing that again, Tyler. It's over, man. Just leave me alone. He noticed Laura and ended the call abruptly. Everything okay? She asked. Ethan hesitated. It's nothing. Ethan talked to me. He sighed heavily, raking his fingers through his hair. It's this guy I used to hang out with, Tyler. He was part of this group that messed around drugs, late-night stunts, stuff I thought made me feel alive after Mom died. Laura's expression softened. I left that all behind months ago, he continued, but he keeps trying to pull me back in. And sometimes I wonder if it would be easier to go back than to keep trying to do the right thing. She sat down beside him, keeping her tone gentle. The right thing is never the easiest, but it's the thing that lets you look in the mirror without regret. He gave a bitter laugh. Why do you care anyway? Because you're my family, and because I know you're worth it. That night Ethan didn't come to her room, but she heard him pacing for a long time. The next day he made a decision. I want to go see someone, he told Laura. A therapist. I think I need help sorting out the stuff in my head. Laura didn't hesitate. I'll help you find someone. I'm proud of you, Ethan. As the months passed, Ethan began changing. He attended sessions, reconnected with a few healthier friends, and even began volunteering at a local animal shelter. His mood lifted, and his eyes, once dulled by loss and confusion, began to sparkle with something new, hope. Greg eventually returned home and was stunned to see the transformation. One evening over dinner, Greg placed his hand over Laura's. You've done more than I ever could for him, he said softly. I just listened, she replied, and I showed up. That night Ethan once again came to her room, not out of fear but to share something. I got accepted, he said, holding up a college letter, UC Berkeley, full ride. Laura hugged him tightly, the kind of embrace that said everything words couldn't. Sometimes healing didn't come in grand gestures. Sometimes it arrived in the quiet middle of the night, with a knock at the door and a heart finally ready to open.